Revelation chapter number 2, verse number 8. And unto the angel of the church in Smyrna write, These things says the first and the last, which was dead and is alive. Amen. The Apostle John he has moved on now and is addressing the church in the city of Smyrna. So we commonly refer to it as the Smyrna church. Amen. And what we want to do is we want to just show you some images of Smyrna. And Smyrna, the city, exists but under a different name, and we're going to cover that in a little bit later. But we wanted to just go through and show you some of the images. You can see some of the ruins, and then you can see some of the modern day city in the background from with that image. Let's go through. As we can see with this particular images, we can see it's all fenced off, and this is some, once again, the old city. A lot of the city has been rebuilt, and there's not too many old images of the old city left. Let's move on, and this is an image of colonnades. We can see, and there's the modern day city in the background as well. So we have that image we can look at, and let's look at this image, and this is another image of the ancient city. Amen. And then we want to look at one more image, then we want to just read a little history, and then we're going to dive into our scriptures. Now this is a very interesting image. This was a Colosseum, ancient Smyrna, and the title of the picture is Colosseum with human torches. Amen. In case you did not know, back in the day when the Roman Empire persecuted the Christians, it had risen to such a feverish pitch until we all know about the Christians being thrown in the den to be eaten by lions. We all know about that or heard about that. But in their Colosseums, they would put black pitch on Christians and burn them alive and use them as their night torches in their Colosseums like this, and for their dinner parties and different things like that. I've read where Nero actually used the Christians, burned them alive for his light and some of his dinner parties. And like I said, this image talks about how it had the stands for human torches to be set up. It just was a terrible, terrible place. Now we're going to read this, and then we're going to plunge into our scriptures. Smyrna is today called the city of Izmar. It lies about 35 miles north of Ephesus on the Aegean coast of Turkey. And as we stated before, all of the 7 churches are in modern day Turkey. It has an excellent harbor. It had a strong allegiance to Rome, and in 195 BC, it became the first city in the ancient world to build a temple in honor of Dea Roma. Later, in 23 BC, Smyrna won permission to build a temple to the Emperor Tiberius. The strong allegiance to Rome, plus a large Jewish population which was actively hostile to the Christians, made it exceptionally difficult to live as a Christian in Smyrna. The most famous martyrdom of the early church father was the elderly Polycarp, which we're going to go into detail about that a little bit later. The 12th martyr in Smyrna who upon his refusal to acknowledge Caesar as Lord was placed upon a pyre to be burned. There is still an active church in the city today. Amen. Amen. So that's some good reading and some good history. Now let's jump into our scriptures. Verse number 8, and unto the angel of the church in Smyrna writing, we stated before earlier how we believe that this angel of the church is referring to the head of the church, the pastor, or the leader of the church. These things says the first and the last, which was dead and is alive. I really like that. The Son of Man is referring to himself as the first and the last, the completeness, the totality, the start, the ending, the Alpha, the Omega, the A to Z. He knows what you're going through. He's there while you're going through it. He's there when you're tired. He's there when you're weak. He's there when you're strong. He's there when you're doing good. He is the first and the last, which was dead, and we all know about his death on Calvary, how he was crucified, and is alive. And that's giving hope to a Christian church that was under so much persecution. That's giving hope that some of you may die, some of you may be persecuted, but there is more to life than this world only. No matter how bad it may get, there is another hope for the believer. And that's what Jesus is implying here. How, yes, I was dead, but now I'm alive forevermore. I just love how he just comes in and instantly injects hope into the believer at the Smyrna church. And we're going to go into much more detail later, but we thank you for being with us this time, and we look to see you again when we cover chapter number 2, verse number 9. Peace be unto you, and God bless you.